very much for the warm welcome, and it is wonderful to be back in Jakarta and to be able to time that with this wonderful innovation fair and tech talk. We're very fresh from our recent Global Leadership Conference in London, and the Indonesia leadership team, led by Sofian, attended that event. It was very much about a continuation of our One ISS journey, to see where we are on that journey, particularly in relation to growth, to winning solutions around product and tech, and we'll hear more about that in a moment, and around our people and about company of belonging. We have a strong purpose at ISS globally, and that is about connecting people and places to make the world work better. And when I walk around and see all of the wonderful suppliers and partners and the innovations from this fair, it's great to see how that's all connecting back into to that purpose. Our strategy, as I mentioned earlier, is we're 2 years into that refresh, and it's been an exciting journey. Our guest presenter today, Marcus Sontheimer, is our Group CIO, and he was a big part of the launch of that new strategy, because that new strategy has very much technology at the heart of it, and that's been a really defining moment for us as an organisation. Our ambition is very strong, and that is to be the leading facility management company in the world, and we're going to do that through 3 distinct areas. The first one is through our people, and that's being the global company of belonging, and that's about our values and about our leadership and about our employee value proposition. It's about a place to be you. The second area that we're focusing on with that ambition is environmental sustainability. It's at the core of our strategy, and we've got very strong ambitions there to be net zero by 2040. But the third area is technology. And on that note, I want to welcome Marcus to the stage. We'd love to hear more from him, about how we're approaching this part of our ambition, this part of our strategy, to be, again, the leading tech player in the market. So please join me in welcoming Marcus Sontheimer to the stage, our Group CIO.
Applause will be great. Everyone, thank you.
Thank you, Scott, and thanks for the warm welcome in Indonesia. As I explained, for me, the first time in this wonderful country, meeting this wonderful people, customers, colleagues, placemakers. So let's take the time, about half an hour, talk about technology for facility management. So I'm the Global Chief Information and Digital Officer of ISS, based in Copenhagen, living in Germany, and trying to make a difference with technology in this area. So it's all about how can we make places that work, think, and the journey we are embarked on started in 2020 around the strategy, and one of the key areas of the strategy, like Scott was talking about, was about becoming technology leader in the industry. Now that's very easy to say, I'm going to be the leader. The question is, what does it mean and where do we start? So in 2021, we started to build a strategy. We took the first 100 days, invited the region as well Asia and APAC overall, contributing to the question, how do we want to become the leader? So the company established on global scale in the board a CIO function, and we approved the strategy, how we want to move. And if you want to become a leader, one of the most important questions is you need to have the competence. So you need to have the muscle, the technologists, the architects, the platforms, and to build a powerhouse of technology within our big company. So that the technology team we have, and you see that on the page, was growing, from 600 people to 800 people already, and end of 2023, we will be close to 1,000 technologists globally in ISS. So this is a real muscle. It's an increase of 50% of specialists in this area. So we built the first applications, and I will talk about the applications later on. And then we really are now accelerating this year and next year the rollout of the first platform and further build on that momentum. Now the strategy around how do you become a leader in an industry, we call it the wheel, the strategic wheel of tech, so which is all about how do you do tech in a company. So how do you source, how do you organize yourself, how do you run your infrastructure? And as an example, we are already moving 10 countries into the cloud. So Indonesia, ISS Indonesia, the platforms are run in the global cloud, which means safer, faster, more scalable IT infrastructure. Very important. Now the key pillars of the strategy is all about how do we build the right digital applications. And the right digital application means which digital applications will make a difference in the industry compared to competition for our customers. And the second question is which application help our placemakers to do a better service than have been able without the necessary digital tools. The second pillar is all around scalability and cybersecurity, because we are providing facility services to highly sensitive customers, to banks, data centers. So quite important to protect customers, and for sure a facility management company needs a high quality of their technology infrastructure and a high protection of the software assets. And the most important part, you can only all do that when you manage the technology team as a global team with competence centers. So you see, when you look on the wheel, there's different dimensions which we are attacking. It's data as an asset. So what can we learn out of the data? How can we predict the future based on the data we have? And how can we use artificial intelligence as assistant technology to empower our placemakers to make the right decisions and to proactively maintain the important assets in the data centers, the machinery, the cooling systems, to make sure there is no downtime of these assets in this highly sensitive facility. So quite a holistic strategy which you need to attack if the aspiration is to become the leader in the industry. Now, when we look on that, we are coming with a technology platform which is called Smart Tech for the globe, for the planet, the places and the people. So really smart tech, that's our brand in the technology of ISS to really make this difference in the places which work, think and give. So the platform itself is a holistic ecosystem. So when we talk about a platform, it's not about, I have a single app, because a single app is not going to solve the problem of the facility management industry. When you look on the slides, you see in the middle, I don't know if this works here, you see a platform which is a big data platform. We call it the building on a page. So that's where all the data comes together, where we put analytics, prediction, and later on even proactively suggestions of tasks and activities to maintain the assets we are managing. It's as well the building on a page to show you about CO2 consumption, the number of waste you produce in the building, the number of occupations of the offices, even down to the level, the usage of the washrooms, so that you can actively steer as a facility manager on our customer side how you are tracking and tracing and improving the quality of the facility and the well-being of the employees in the building. So very central in this ecosystem is the big data platform where all data comes together. When you then go to the right-hand, left-hand side on the picture here, we talk about the facility management platform. That's the platform where we are managing all assets you have in a building. So that's really about life cycle management of the technical assets of a building, which for our technicians, our plumbers, our electricians, that they get the right tasks with the right tools to do their work, document the compliance of their work, and are being very productive in the space. So the facility management system, we are managing the assets, we are managing the tasks on a daily basis. And I met once today a customer, we are managing 1,000 tasks on a monthly basis in that single facility. Now this interacts with an app, a frontliner app, which we call the technician app, which is really important, where he gets all his tasks, where he has the documentation on the platform, where he knows what to do, when to do, and how to do this work, which is called FieldFlex. In addition, we are building own apps which are interfacing with the ecosystem. You here see a cleaning service app. Talk about that a little bit. It's an in-house developed, our own IP platform, again, to document compliance, to document the work done, to register the time needed for the work, and that's quite important, again, for collecting the data, learning from the data. It's all in the back end, and as well then to show the transparent invoicing to our customers. In addition, we are managing energy consumption and sustainability topics with different platforms. We are really able to do that, and we are doing that for customers to manage really how much energy is consumed in which building, and proposing optimization activities to reduce the consumption of energy. The other, for the office-based customers, we have a workplace experience application. You see here the new look and feel of this application. This is for the employees of our customer to open tasks, to book a seat, to book a meeting room, even to ask for food for the meeting room. So really a platform for the office-based workers. And in the bottom you see all about food. So the food stack, which is front of the house, ordering food, for the canteen to manage the logistics of the food, track and trace the freshness of the food, and as well manage the waste in the kitchen of food waste, because food waste is as well, when it comes to the CO2 balance of a company, quite an important influence on the balance sheet of CO2. So the main message of that slide is that in the future of facility management, it's not about a single app, it's about the ecosystem and collecting the total data of what's going on in the building, and then make decision proposals for the managers with algorithmics and mathematics. Now, what is behind this ecosystem is really a number of apps, and you see that we have a catalog of apps which we are providing to our countries. As you see, there is an app for managing waste. We call it the ISS Smart Waste Control Platform. We built it together with Denmark and UK, where you can manage all the waste in a hospital or the waste in an office building. You can manage the interaction with the carrier who takes the waste home, the weight of the waste, and you can double check the billing of the carrier of your waste. You see on the bottom our workplace app. That's for our office-based employees of our customers, which are really able to book seats, as I said before, book meeting rooms, as well open tasks. Even there is indoor wayfinding if you're living on a bigger campus, and it will route your employees to the place they are looking for. So My ISS is an ISS internal application. This is for our frontliners. We are rolling that out in Indonesia this year. We are targeting 11,000 users in the beginning. Globally, we want to have, end of this year, 100,000 users on the My ISS application. So that's then the first time where we can really talk on a company app down to our frontliners. You really can message all cleaners in a building, all food people in a country, and you can start a totally different communication with your workforce, which for sure makes a big difference for our client, because there is not many, if at all, facility management companies out there who really can talk digitally to all of their stuff. We talked about the ISS Smart Work application. As you see in these pictures, it's about work you're registering, it's about geotagging, it's about before the work, after the work, so it's about documenting the result of your work and ultimately registering that in the facility management system in the background. So it's interfacing to the platform and managing the task. In our tech catalog, we have as well a full-fledged IoT platform for the buildings, so we can manage sensors in the washrooms, we can manage beacons in the rooms. So if you want to digitize your real estate more completely, then you can use this IoT platform as a basis for the digital twin of a building. And the last area is the area around food. We call it Audit ISS. It has a front end, as I said, in the canteen. It has software for the cashiers to pay for food if necessary. And it has a totally supply chain around food and all the ingredients. And you need to comply for sure with all the ingredients of food for allergies and other stuff. So you see a set of applications for different use cases, and all of them are owned, the IP is owned by ISS ourselves, so our own tech in that. So here you see where they are, you see the availability of them, you see which the combinations of the software is available and what we are launching. So all of the systems are already live today with customers and we are implementing them where they generate value. And I talked about the building on a page. This is something which is growing. That's why you see here coming soon. It's live in different banking customers already, but it's a permanently developed future back end for different industries. What is important when you are the leader is as well to always look into the startup market, you know. So what is going on out there? There's a lot of smart, dynamic, smart teams, small enterprises working on a lot of problems to be solved. We at ISS globally, we are monitoring around 500 startups which we are talking to, you know, either collaborating or we build it ourselves or buying startup companies. And we are clustering the work around the domains you see here. So we are looking out for startups which are working around the green identity, so everything around CO2 solutions, reducing energy, reducing waste, and you see a lot of the platforms which are out there. We are collaborating with some of the platforms already with different customers. The other area is around people solutions. You see on the right-hand side, one of the platforms which is staff-based we are using already for our Frontliner app, so a lot of collaboration. So important is to watch out the global startup market, look what's going on, you know, take the ideas inside and or offer this kind of solutions to our customers. And what we can do is we are really helping the startups to scale. And one of the areas where there is a big need for technology support is carbon and green identity. We're really trying to find out the right drivers behind the carbon emission and ultimately optimize with different partners. As an example, Double is one of the tools. It's a algorithmic on top of the building management system and optimizes the usage between climate and heating to reduce the energy consumption in a building regarding that detailed steering. It's a little bit like a, how do you say, a digital tuning of your business management systems with intelligent technology. With that, I would finalize to give you some points which are important to take away. So why we believe we are on the right way to become a technology leader is we are really building a stable, agile, cloud-based platform. That's what we have. We already moved 10 countries into the cloud. All the tech you saw is running on the cloud already. We are adding more muscles like software development. We have a center in Porto, in Warsaw, and we are building capability as well. We are adding skills here in Indonesia. And then we are really trying to push much more on the value of data and generating information out of the data we're using. Important for the future is this ecosystems to connect different systems. It's not a single app who's gonna solving the problem of our customers. It's the ecosystem of different applications which ultimately need to end up in the big data backbone to report and to predict in the future. So you really are looking for this 360-degree view of a building in the future. And you need to start now as a customer to build up that ecosystem, and ISS is the partner for you to do that digital future of facility management services. If you have any further questions, here is the contact. Follow us, talk to your ISS partner in the country or to us globally. So it's going to be a cool ride to do all these nice tech things, and thank you for listening.
Check. That was Marcus at Hayward for Tech Talk. Marcus, it's very exciting here. We have our vendors and partners here. This year, we have Industrial Talk, where they are talking about their innovation and new developed technology that can affecting in sustainability and environment. How can ISS, your catalog of ISS tech, working together with our vendors to achieve that goals?
Yeah, so the majority of projects we do, firstly, we do combined with countries. And foremost as well with customers and suppliers. So one example for sustainability, we developed the energy management platform called Invisi together with a bank, a global bank, and really started to use the platform with the provider in that case to reduce the energy consumptions. And we increased up to 20% reduction in energy consumption. That's firstly from a cost perspective, very, efficient, 20% if there's high prices on electricity, and it's good for the planet as well because it reduces really the emissions. So it's a collaboration with suppliers. We are reaching out to suppliers like the startups as well are coming to us, and then we look at it, we do a proof of concept, and then we partner, but we always try to do that together with a customer as well to see the value creation.
Oke, jadi tadi saya bertanya, karena di Innovation Expo tahun ini kita ada Industrial Talk bersama dengan partners dan juga vendor kami, di mana ternyata vendor-vendor di sini semuanya sedang mengarah ke pembangunan teknologi yang mengarah kepada sustainability dan juga environment. Tadi Marcus menegaskan bahwa semua itu yang berhubungan dengan sustainability dapat tercapai dengan kolaborasi, tidak hanya ISS sendiri tapi juga dengan partner dan juga klien. So Marcus, we're going to start the Q&A session. But first of all, we need to sit down because some serious question is coming up. So, kita akan buka sesi tanya jawab dan akan ada hadiah untuk setiap penanya ya. Silahkan apabila ada pertanyaan yang akan disampaikan. So how do you see, you've been walking and seeing the exhibition, the exhibitor for this year is quite interesting. They have this technology showing, how do you see from Indonesian perspective, the development of this technology to develop?
Yeah, so as I said, I think the industry in itself needs much more technology.
Yes.
And I think there is a mixture between software, as I talked about. I think the target needs to be that we get a real digital twin of the building. And I think we need to know, what is happening in the building in multiple dimensions. First question is for a lot of companies, how is the usage of my office? How is the usage of my washrooms? Because you can much better target how much work and or how much water, power you invest. And when you invest less work, less chemicals, less water. It's good for the planet, and in the end, it's good for all of us. So I think the question about making things much more visible is a future question. So I saw some people, working with cameras. I think cameras is quite a good instrument to as well, learn what is going on in my office or in my production plant. And there is so much more artificial intelligence you can use to learn what's going on and then drive activity. So I think it's a roadmap. Personally, I worked 5.5 years in banking, and I worked in logistics for 5 years. So I think there's so much more use cases where we can do things better. And I think that's as well important, even if the salaries might be not that high in some countries, but it's about the quality, and it's about sustainability, and it's about enabling our placemaker to do more qualified work and teach them that they learn how to do that and become higher qualified. So I think there's a lot to do in this industry. I think we are moving fast, but there is, in robotics, if you think about robotics, what you can do outside the building, the combination of software and mechanics, this is a huge field which the innovation is very high. So I think there is a lot to do. I think the big companies like we are investing in that, and I think that will make the difference in the future.
Oke, jadi tadi saya bertanya, Markus sempat melihat-lihat exhibitor yang ada di Innovation Expo tahun ini, apa pendapatnya mengenai teknologi yang sedang dikembangkan. Dia melihat sekarang banyak sekali opsi atau pilihan, baik itu pengembangan teknologi yang mana memungkinkan kita untuk mengurangi penggunaan listrik, penggunaan air, dan sumber daya lainnya. Ini akan berhubungan langsung dengan pencapaian tujuan untuk sustainability itu sendiri. Well, actually you talk a lot and I just, we have clients today visiting our office, and it is interesting that you've been mentioning about the investment, because I believe that's the question of our clients when we talk about technology, one of the question, I guess. So, what will we say when they ask us, how long will this investment, the ROI, when we choose to invest in the development of technology?
Yeah, I think it will never go away. Yeah, so I think what we're doing in ISS is not that we are taking a lot of money now, invest 2 years, and then we are gone. Now what we are doing is we are building a muscle of software development, own in-house software developers. So I think that's important, first thing. Secondly, I think the things we are developing are going to generate value on the customer side. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Yeah? Do you want to translate?
Yeah, that means creating value ya. That's a long journey ahead. Ya, baik. Kita buka sesi pertanyaannya, silahkan. Kepada setiap penanya, nanti akan diberikan hadiah. Ayo, jangan malu-malu. Silahkan. Jadi tadi kita sudah mendengarkan TikTok ya, mengenai how ISS doing technology development untuk winning IFM industry. Saya lihat di sini juga banyak teman-teman dari komersial dan juga dari clients yang juga mungkin sedang meraba-raba digital dan teknologi ini akan dibawa ke ISS oleh ISS sampai sejauh mana dan bagaimana kita akan mempergunakan itu, memaksimalkan itu untuk delivery our customer value satisfaction. Nah ini mungkin bisa ditanyakan nih kepada Markus, mumpung dia lagi mampir di Indonesia. Markus, can you tell us about the tech hub you've been building in Porto and Warsaw?
Yeah. So what is very clear when we talked about the strategy, how do we want to build this kind of ecosystem, the level of competence you need to do that is different. So there are skills which ISS didn't have before, which is architects, as name, software architecture, but in a real detailed level, because to connect all these components, you need a proper middle layer. That's why we thought, where do we first build the first muscle? And that's how we come to the conclusion to build an own tech company in Porto, in Europe, The reason for that was firstly a cultural question and to learn and to be fast. You know, it's just an hour flight away, it's very close. And we are building up software development there. End of the year, we will have around 80 software developers sitting. This is a lot of software coding capacity. And they are running, as I showed, the IoT system as one of the components, the integration software, and especially as well when we come to implement customers. There is a lot of interfaces between customer systems and our systems in this quite global key account. So that's why we built this muscle. So it's a combination of the tech hub in Warsaw and the tech hub in Portugal at the moment. That's the beginning. And now we are reaching out step by step into Asia as well. But as you know, our business is split between Asia, Americas, and a very big business in Europe. So it's coming more and more. But for us, the tech hub is quite a differentiator to competition because nobody else has an in-house technology expertise like we have.
Ya, jadi ISS tahun ini baru saja meresmikan Tech Hub di Porto dan Warsaw. Ini adalah sebuah momentum besar di mana menjadi komitmen dari ISS untuk mengkoneksikan 350.000 karyawan ISS di seluruh dunia yang saat ini beroperasi di 30 plus country. Dan itu adalah salah satu roadmap yang ingin dijalankan oleh Markus. Baik, saya lihat ada yang mau menyampaikan pertanyaan, boleh dibantu Mike? Silakan.
Thank you. Mungkin it's also a questions, and also I would also welcome our guests, our customers, our suppliers. Thank you very much for attending our event today. Because of you, we are here in Indonesia in ISS for 27 years. But just want to emphasize what Markus has explained, that with ISS, you will continue to grow and see the evolutions of technology in this industry, and you will get benefit of that gradual evolutions of technology. But it's also a question for you, Markus, because I was discussing with the several clients today in our event. Now you have a glimpse of how Indonesia and the market look like. And probably some characteristics are quite different compared to what you see in Europe and Americas. How, from technology perspective, we are planning to take the different requirements into how we're building the technology of the future? That probably something that we would like to listen from our market here. Thank you.
Wow, that was some serious question you need to answer.
Yeah, so it's for sure after one day, that's a tough question. I think one of the biggest differences is the number of employees, right? You are a big market leader, 46,000 people in Indonesia. And for sure, what you need to do then is you need to build systems which are payable. If you want to roll out technology to 46,000 people, you can't use Microsoft accounts, yeah? So you need to build something in-house which is scalable. I think the differences in placemakers is not that big. You know, the software needs to be easy to use for our frontliners. We need to train them. And I think that's something which I wouldn't say that's a big difference between Germany and Indonesia. It needs to be simple that you don't need too much time to train the people on software, because a lot of people just don't like software. So it needs to be like the private apps, very easy to use. I think in this industry, we all know it's very difficult to find qualified employees. You know, when you talk about technical employees, really about plumbers, about electricians. So I think that the level of education in that placemaker roles is more difficult in markets like Indonesia. For the software, that would again mean we need to be more intelligent into the software to make it easier to train people to develop tasks. So I think there's still a lot to learn. I think the traffic is different here, so I learned. So that's something about route-based and how can you optimize the use of people that you don't need to drive through the whole city. So logistical questions, I think there is a lot you can do. when you know where are your people with the skills and you can allocate them better and they don't need to go through big traffic. So I think that's in a big city like Jakarta very important. So I think there's a lot of data points I collected in my first day to make a difference, and in the end we need to pilot some of the ideas where we see bottlenecks in these high volume markets. But a lot, I think, when it comes to assets, I think it's the same question. There is no difference between a climber machine in Indonesia and a climber machine, in Europe. It needs to be maintained. It's even more important that there is no disruption in a country with more higher temperatures. So still a lot to learn. Yeah, food, I don't know yet. Food tech is for the more expensive countries a quite important business. How can I make it easy for the employees to order food, take away food from the office when you have a good canteen? I don't really know yet how the market for food and canteen is in Indonesia. But I still think there's a lot of good solutions which we can import from the global. That's why we are a global company, so we can collect the global ideas and bring them to the customers here in Indonesia. And hopefully they can benefit from the global company and the global muscle of ISS.
Baik, jadi tadi menjawab pertanyaan dari Pak Sofyan, CEO dan Presiden Direktur ISS Indonesia. Jadi saat ini memang salah satu PR besarnya adalah dengan mempersiapkan SDM ketika deployment dari teknologi itu dilaksanakan. Karena memang sangat berbeda karakter dari human resource di Europe country dan juga di Asia, khususnya di Indonesia sendiri. Tapi itulah yang akan terus dilakukan, dicari caranya oleh tim dari Markis sendiri ya. Baik, dan juga tadi untuk menjawab mengenai pertanyaan kedua, yaitu di industri catering, itu juga saat ini sedang dilihat perkembangan marketnya seperti apa. Dan ini sangat exciting kalau menurut Markus dan perlu untuk ditinjau lebih lanjut. Makanya nanti tahun depan kita undang lagi ke Innovation Expo, kita akan ngobrol lagi lebih lanjut lagi ya dengan teknologi dan juga pengembangan terbaru. Oke, next question kita buka. Tadi ada penanya dari sisi sebelah kanan ya. Silahkan. Sempat tadi ada satu pertanyaan. Oke, silahkan. Dari belakang sebelah kiri minta tolong. Sip.
Okay, hi Marcus, my name is Alex from Commercial ISS. On behalf of my clients, this is my client from Bank DKI Jakarta, a provincially owned corporation from Jakarta. I want to ask a question. How this digital transformation can help my clients just to run the operations smoothly, and also how to reduce their expenses, maybe from direct costs and also indirect costs, because I think this digital transformation should be the solution for every client in ISS Indonesia. Thank you.
So, where is the client from?
From Bank DKI Jakarta.
From banking industry.
From banking industry.
Yeah. So I think we are quite, I would say, a big player in the banking industry. I think we call it the office-based business. That's what we have banking in. I think there are multiple components which are important. I think one important component is the big data dashboard. We call it the building on a page. I think for real estate in banking to have this oversight, about compliance, about the occupation of the office, that's especially, there's a lot of how do I bring people back to the office, and just to have the transparency about how many people have been in the office yesterday, how many people do I predict are going to join next week. I think that's for the banking industry quite important. So the whole ecosystem we have live in multiple banks. I'm happy to provide some examples and talk you through that. We had a big win, a big bank in Australia, ANZ Bank, which really, one of the reasons why they choose us was because of the technology we can provide to them. So I think from the workplace app down to big data, down to kind of sustainability platforms. So for banking is kind of the whole set, I would say, is interesting. And it's to save costs on the one hand side, but it's as well to reduce the CO2 footprint. and compliance. Is the building of the bank compliant? I think that's something which helps banks as well. Now, I'm happy to have a detailed discussion about banking, but I think a lot of the tools we have is very attractive for the bank. We have kind of 80% of all global listed banks are our customers in the world. So I think we have a big footprint in banking to explain what adds value to the customer. So if this is a need. But it goes far beyond cleaning. We do a lot of technical services in the banking industry, we do a lot of food as well for banking industry. And we do a lot of office planning, workplace management kind of jobs. So banking is quite a muscle we are strong in.
Maybe you can share one success story. The development of technology in the banking industry can affecting the cost reduction. Maybe you can share one success story.
Yeah, we have different things about cost reduction. One, at the moment, we are working with a big Swiss bank, and that's more about IoT-based cleaning. Yeah, that's more, in that case, it's for the high-price markets like London and Zurich. And it's all about, as I said before, it's a combination of IoT plus the apps. And the target is to reduce the costs for us, in that sense, for cleaning around 10%. And it really counts, how many, the usage of the washrooms. It directs the frontliners more clearly to the places. It enables our frontliners to clean the offices during the day, which is from a social, economical point of view. Then they don't need to be in the night where it might be more dangerous. So it's a quite for us as well for taking responsibility for our own employees. So it has a multiple dimension. But that's at the moment the newest product we are working on for the banking industry. It's this advanced cleaning tech. The second one is the one I talked about, is about energy management. So we have the platform live. We are onboarded every building for the bank, and we have reduced the energy consumption by 20%. And that's really all about data. You don't even need meter in the building. You can get the information from the energy provider to the bank. So it's quite a collaboration. And I think that's really a short win very quickly to make savings on energy management. It's a product we are offering in multiple countries. I don't know if we offer it now in Indonesia today, but it's a product we can offer. We have the tech for it, and we are happy to discuss that with the customer.
Ya, jadi untuk menjawab pertanyaan dari Mas Adriel tadi memang sebuah problem itu ada pemecahan atau solusinya itu tersendiri, dan Markus is very happy to share. Terima kasih pertanyaannya tadi dari klien kita dari Bank DKI. Tadi Markus menyebutkan bahwa untuk menjawab itu salah satunya secara in general actually itu dengan pengambilan data dari big data. Dari situ kita bisa tahu berapa daya maupun juga sumber daya yang kita gunakan, dan kemudian nanti akan kita ambil atau kita gunakan untuk pengambilan keputusan ke depannya yang akan tentunya mempengaruhi cost reduction. Begitu. Jadi ada proses yang nanti ya bisa diambil, tapi kalau memungkinkan sedikit nanti kita ngobrol dulu ya. So we're going to set a meeting to talk about it in details, because every problem have a different solution.
Every customer has as well a different maturity, and
yes.
It needs to add value for the customer. Quality, CO2, price. That's why it needs a detailed analysis. That's very clear. But we have good examples.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing one of the best case that you've been developed before in the Bank Swiss, right? Okay. Satu pertanyaan, silahkan. Baik ya, oke. Silakan.
Oke, nama saya, my name is Andika from JMF. I will speak in bahasa ya, please help me to translate. Terkait dengan yang pertanyaan tadi, ini kan kita baru aja keluar dari pandemi gitu ya. Jadi memang banyak fokus perusahaan itu adalah bagaimana bisa recover gitu ya, getting the business again, right? Sehingga mungkin banyak fokusnya itu lebih ke bagaimana cost itu bisa lebih efisien. Nah, kami di GMF juga banyak dibantu oleh ISS. Terima kasih Pak. Jadi mungkin gini, karena tadi ada banyak diceritakan platform teknologi yang sudah dikembangkan, dan ISS di tempat kami itu juga bisa, karena tahu ngelihat gitu kan, bagaimana sih operation di tempat kita gitu kan. Bisa juga sebetulnya memberikan saran gitu, dari banyaknya platform itu mana yang kira-kira bisa memberikan added value atau bisa membantu perusahaan gitu dalam hal ini GMF, sehingga dia bisa memberikan kontribusi. Fokusnya dulu adalah bagaimana kita bisa mendapatkan operation yang lebih efisien gitu. Nah itu mungkin jadi satu added value yang bisa ISS berikan ke customer gitu ya. Karena kan kita terus terang nggak tahu nih, ada banyak itu tapi mana yang mungkin akan applicable gitu ya, yang memberikan manfaat yang tepat buat kami gitu. Nah mungkin karena ISS di sana dia bisa melihat, memberikan masukan, kayaknya yang pas tuh kita bisa apply ini gitu kan. Nah added value itu kalau memang bisa memberikan kontribusi dari sisi biaya, mungkin itu akan jadi sangat membantu kami gitu. Mungkin itu, makasih.
Okay, thank you for the question. Oh, yeah, okay. So, dari GMF ini adalah Garuda, salah satu subsidiary dari Garuda, one of the biggest airplane industry. Talking about recovering after pandemic, you've shown them the ISS Tech Catalog. He asked which one from the technology you've been developed that will give the most benefit for the industry, for the factory. We're talking about the airplane here.
Yeah, I think it depends. I would personally think that the facility management system in itself, managing all the assets and the life cycle of the assets in the factory, I think that's absolutely important for you. If you don't have a proper tech to manage, you know, it's the same, because if the factory, if the climate is not working, the heating is not working, the elevators are not working, that's a disruption of production as well for your workers. I think that's a must-have. So facility management around the factory building. Do you want to?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I still think IoT is a question which could add value. And the last one, I still think that around the big data dashboard and CO2 of the building in the future is as well a topic for manufacturing. So I think there are some differences to the office space, which is, you know, you don't need workplace, you don't need food is a question, right, about the food for the employees. But I think there is, I would say half of the applications are, you know, as well very useful for manufacturing. That's my view.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'm talking beyond the IFM. Yeah. Our company is a maintenance, repair, and overhaul for an aircraft, right? So now ISS is supporting us in IFM,
Yes.
but I can see that there are a lot of opportunities that ISS can give to us in terms of doing our business process, in terms of providing maintenance to aircraft, right?
Yeah.
For example, aircraft cleaning, right? Not just doing the IFM, but you can also help us to do the aircraft cleaning. But the question is, sometimes we don't know. We just recognize ISS is the IFM provider, right? But there are a lot of things that I think you can provide, that you can help us, how we can make our business process more efficient, right? If you're talking about sustainability, yes, that is one thing, but now we just came from the pandemic, right? So most of the company, including our company, is focusing how we can make the operation more efficient. So I think this is something that ISS can, suggest to us what kind of technology platform that can you offer yeah, to help our operation, our business process becoming more efficient. Thank you.
I think Pak Sofyan will fill in for the end to answer that particular question. Mic-nya tolong kasih ke Pak Sofyan, baik.
Thank you, Pak Andika from GMF and Bapak Ibu. And I think it's a very valid questions because not happen only to GMF, but also many other customers when I discuss returning from pandemic, there is a lot of focus into cost efficiency because a lot of companies are still trying to build the muscle to grow again after the pandemic, right? Again, there's a different solutions for the different problem. As a leading in this industry, we are trying to think about what are the different problems that we can address in the market. In terms of the cost efficiency, I can say that from productivity point of view, we actually have a concept, what we call it an output-based model, which is focusing on an output that you would like to get out of the service rather than the input that you basically monitoring or trying to get. So from that point of view, actually, we will design the productivity level of our service to provide the quality that you need. So this has helped some organizations, some of our clients, to basically improve the quality, at the same time also reducing some of the cost element to become more productive and become more efficient. So I think we can discuss a little bit more together with Raihan here, our key account for GMF, to explore what are the possibilities in terms of that. Yeah. And technology will help us to be more efficient now and in the future. In the country, we're already rolling out FMS in some clients, and I think GMF is also one of that. That will help us to monitor the quality of executions that we have to your service, and at the same time, getting the data to be able to get the transparency of where we should then focus in our cost reduction journey. So that is basically the transparency that is important coming out of the system, coming out of the technology for us to have that data-driven discussion, more so than just looking at the service from the surface. Yeah. So that I think we'll explore that and elaborate further in the next discussion, Pak Andika. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all the questions. It's getting harder in here. Well, that's all wrap for today's Tech Talk session with Marcus and Hamer. Thank you for the insight and for answering the hard question and the soft question and a funny question. Well, we'll see you again in next year's session, Tech Talk, with another guest star from ISS Group. An applause will be great. Thank you. Okay. Continue. We're going to give an award. Marcus, I'm gonna need your presence here, and I'll invite Pak Sofyan. Marcus, please stay. Okay. Pak Sofyan, CEO and President Director of ISS Indonesia, to the stage. Also, Jonathan Reeves, our CEO, ISS Asia Pacific. And lastly, Scott Davis, CEO, ISS Asia Pacific, to the stage. Okay, so as I announced before, today in Innovation Expo, we have a call for innovation, di mana kami merayakan inovasi-inovasi dari placemaker kami di seluruh Indonesia. Ada 4 kategori yang kami buka untuk mereka berkompetisi dengan inovasi-inovasi yang mereka lakukan. Yang pertama adalah engagement and belonging. Yang kedua adalah top service. Ketiga adalah digital expertise. Dan yang terakhir adalah championing sustainable workplace. So, panitia, apakah kita siap untuk memberikan penghargaan pertama? Oke. Siap-siap semuanya. Tahun ini ada 125 submission. Dari tahun lalu ini memang masuk ke kita 50, tahun ini angkanya 125. Luar biasa sekali. Semangat dari teman-teman. Ini sudah kita pilih menjadi 8 besar, lalu kemudian kita pilih lagi menjadi 4 pemenang. Baik, untuk kategori pertama, engagement and belonging, jatuh kepada Puri Inamo. Dengan tema membentuk komunitas sosial donor darah di lingkungan kerja ISS Indonesia. Kepada Bapak Yatno, kami persilakan untuk menerima penghargaan. Silakan. Dan diwakili oleh CLT segmennya untuk dapat menerima penghargaan. Kami undang ke depan, Pak. Silahkan kita berfoto dulu bersama. Untuk pemenang jangan turun ya, karena kita akan langsung back to back. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Wow, that goes straight to the Lincoln. Pak Lolo silakan dan pemenang Pak Yatno untuk standby dulu, nanti kita akan foto bersama ya dengan semua pemenang. Oke, boleh silahkan di bawah. Untuk kategori kedua, jeng jeng jeng. Untuk kategori top service, Innovation Expo 2023 jatuh kepada AHM Park Center Karawang. Dengan tema inovasi pembuatan pompa banjir dari pompa sumpit bekas. Wow. Kami panggilkan ini oleh tim luar biasa karena memang kerjasama teamwork makes the dream works ya. Kepada Bapak Wahyu, Ridwan, Hamzah, Fazril, Pak Hapit, Dedi, Wanda, Dasep, Bayu ditemani oleh CLT segmennya. Kami persilakan untuk maju ke atas panggung. Ya. Luar biasa. Sebuah inovasi yang dikembangkan oleh pacemaker di tengah-tengah mereka melaksanakan pekerjaan rutin yang mereka masih sempat untuk mengembangkan di teknologi sederhana dan kemudian dikompetisikan dan menang. Luar biasa. Terima kasih sekali. Standby ya untuk nanti kita akan foto lagi setelah ini. Nah, ini dia satu tema yang muncul di tahun ini. Tema ketiga yang akan memenangkan untuk tema digital expertise. Ini dia pemenangnya. Di tracking bank cleaning product and performance. Atas nama Bapak Rusbandi dan Eki Prasetyawan dimohon untuk maju ke depan. Baik, ini diwakili oleh Kevin dan CLT segmennya. Boleh menemani? Aplikasi driver tracker. Aplikasi driver tracker ini adalah salah satu local solution yang dikembangkan oleh ISS Indonesia. Ini juga masuk ke dalam ekosistem digital dari ISS Group yang tadi disampaikan oleh Markus Sotheiber. Dapat digunakan untuk penjadwalan driver, dispatcher, dan juga melakukan penjadwalan untuk aktivitas lainnya dan pengantaran penumpang. Sehingga aman, nyaman, dan cepat. Dan tema tahun ini kita ngomong sustainability. Nah, sustainability also masuk ke dalam tema yang diperlombakan di Innovation Expo 2023. Dan untuk kategori terakhir kita pada Innovation Expo 2023 yaitu Championing Sustainable Workplace jatuh kepada mikroirigasi dan penampungan air hujan Rumah Sakit Immanuel. Kepada Bapak Bayu Tinjo Haji, Arofik Muhammad Syahril dan Joko Subedo kami persilakan. Jauh-jauh dari Bandung, Rumah Sakit Immanuel Bandung. Inovasi ini bahkan baru juga mengantarkan Bu Opik salah satu nominasi dari Apple Award untuk berangkat ke London tahun ini dalam GLC Award yang dilaksanakan oleh ISS Group. Mikroirigasi dan penampungan air hujan yang dilaksanakan di Rumah Sakit Immanuel Bandung ini berkontribusi tidak hanya pada penghijauan, tapi juga pada efisiensi penggunaan air dan juga listrik. Kami juga, it's an honor because we can invite our client from Rumah Sakit Immanuel Bandung, Pak Albert, to the stage. Because this innovation can only happen with cooperation. And Pak Albert make it happen, thank you. For trusting ISS Indonesia, for making innovation happen every day in the workplace. Boleh kita ambil foto sekali lagi bersama. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Dan kepada semua pemenang keempat kategori tadi boleh ke atas. Kita juga mengundang perwakilan dari ISS Asia Pacific. If you mind to please welcome to the stage, joining us. Take a picture with all the winners. Tadi kepada pemenang kategori engagement and belonging, top service dan juga digital expertise. Mohon bergabung, ayo kita ambil foto bareng-bareng. Luar biasa sekali. Ayo, sekarang sudah siap? 3, 2, 1, cheers. Sekali lagi, lebih bebas gayanya, lebih rileks. 1, 3, 2, 1, sekali lagi. Woo! Innovation Expo 2023 winners. Terima kasih sekali lagi saya ucapkan kepada sponsor, vendor dan juga partner ISS yang memungkinkan acara ini berlangsung. Dan besok kita ada hari terakhir dari Innovation Expo 2023 dan masih ada Industrial Talk bersama dengan pembicara-pembicara lainnya. Siap-siap. Baik. Terima kasih sekali atas kehadiran dari undangan baik klien, korporasi dan juga partner dari ISS Indonesia. Karena sudah hadir pada hari ini di kantor ISS Indonesia. Silahkan untuk menggelilingi booth melihat eksibitor-eksibitor yang ada dan mungkin berdiskusi begitu. Dan apabila ada pertanyaan, kita ada booth Innovation Expo di sebelah kiri belakang. Silakan memberikan pertanyaan apapun yang mungkin ada yang belum jelas ditemukan hari ini di Innovation Expo. Masih ada hari besok lagi karena Innovation Expo ini akan berlangsung selama 3 hari. Baik, terima kasih sekali lagi saya ucapkan. Saya Lia Yuslon, mewakili panitia dan juga mewakili sesi Tech Talk with Marcus Sontheimer. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih sekali lagi atas kehadirannya dan juga antusiasmenya. Kepada rekan media mungkin bisa bersiap-siap karena kita akan melaksanakan press conference setelah ini. Baik, akhir kata wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.